shout out to your foundation, but more importantly, your mom, because it seems like your mom had a great influence on you. School wise, she had you walking outside playing Lopes. My mom did the same thing too. I remember going outside and playing Lopes to go play, my nigga. Like, not no sneakers. My mom said, nah, wear that all sweater and put some Lopes on. Because
I had all them sweat cardigans.
My mom did not want my feet to spread, so she kept me in a pair of shoes every Thursday and Friday, son.
Dog, I wanted a Coca-Cola sweater so bad. I'm sorry. So if anybody out there sees this and you really want to feel like you understand me, buy me a Coca-Cola sweater, yo. 12-year-old gonna really rock with you.
Yo,
I ain't never get that sweater.
Yo, everything you saying right now, I 100% agree with. I think that like just the there's a lot of seeking external validation from people, and I think that seeking that external validation leads to people never really experiencing true happiness. Like if people think that happiness is somewhere out there, you're always going to be chasing what you perceive to be happy. Happiness to me is an internal concept. Like you could have a million things in the world. You can have all different kinds of stuff and still be unhappy. And you can have nothing and be the happiest person in the world. And I think that that's a concept that people have yet to understand. As far as I think it relates to hip hop, is I think that what happens with hip hop, like as a culture and just a genre, I feel like sometimes like us as consumers and people who partake in the culture, we devalue. I feel like we devalue hip hop. And we're quick to discard people in hip hop, where other genres embrace people and they continue to embrace people. And I don't remember who it was, Rob. Maybe you'll remember. We were interviewing somebody recently and they were saying that they realized that they may have never gotten like this huge hit record, but they came to the realization that, they didn't need a huge hit record, that the records that they made allowed them to have a career and do music, which they enjoyed doing music, and has allowed them to do it for their lifetime. And I think that if we could figure out as consumers and people within the hip hop culture how to sort of embrace that and come to the realization, like, because you don't have a number one record does not make you, it doesn't mean that you're not still a great artist or you're not a successful artist. Like I don't know what happened, but there was a period in time where I think sales really define who people thought they were and who the consumer thought who people were. Because I heard people before saying stuff like, "Oh, this dude sold 5 million records, but Rakim didn't sell." And I'm like, "You kidding me? You comparing this guy to Rakim?" And I don't know. I don't know if it's about us as a culture. I don't know if that's about hip hop consumers.
I mean, Vanilla Ice sold 1 trillion records. Are we comparing?
But that's what people, I'm sure you experienced that too. People be like, "Yo, you crazy?" You could be talking about artists. They'd be like, "You crazy? That person sold 4 million copies." So popularity makes this person a better artist.
So let's talk about that. That's been an amazing conversation for me. You're talking to people that shouldn't be having a conversation with you, first of all. Mm-hmm. If I'm in the inside and you're talking to me from the outside, and I'm like, it's beautiful and warm in this house, and you're standing outside the window telling me that it's cold in the house, that's because you're outside, right? So let's talk about this. Labels push people. Information is pushed to you just like it's on your phone, right? Phishing, they call it, whatever they're doing to find out through analytics what you like to see, algorithms and so on. It's the same with labels. You buying your place on the chart, you're being promoted in brown bags to all these different radio promoters and all these different radio stations and all these events that you're being paid and pushed into the line of sight for people. And a lot of people, didn't have that marketing. I know a lot of people who they had the hit record, but their record wasn't in certain regions and certain stores. They never manufactured enough. They never distributed enough. They never had a chance for the people to purchase if they were going to purchase at the time. Mm-hmm. So it's apples and oranges. So if you're talking to me about me or someone else versus a pawn who had all the money behind them, the whole building behind them, as Clive Davis said when he was promoting Alicia Keys, put the whole building behind this person. Means every department shut down whatever you're doing and turn all your powers and relationship and your network to this artist for their successful elevation. So when you're talking about that versus somebody on an independent label or on a label with not as many
Resources.
great opportunities or a huge budget at the time pushing that artist. I don't think that's a true testament to the artist. To their credit, they may not have. You would have to tell me that. I almost want to say it's the same label, but say two different labels had two different artists that people really loved, and they had the same tour support, they had the same marketing, they had the same in stores, they had the same radio promoters behind them. Your record label executive was sleeping with the same radio promoters and directors at MTV and VH1, and I would say, okay, they had the same choice and chances, and this person was better because people chose them. But until you can tell me that, let's say, Clive Davis versus L.A. Reid, those two networks battling, because that's really what's happening, right? Two networks, two buildings, two budgets, two labels, two teams battling for these spots. I can't, that's not a comparative thing to me. I don't feel that that's fair to the artists, to the labels, to the story. If you sit there and you compare and try to devalue someone's musical journey, not knowing the inner workings, I would need a physical, tangible account of where every dollar was spent, every opportunity they had, they didn't pass up, every magazine interview that they were late for that will no longer interview them again, so they chose the other person over them. There's so many stories in this one story. Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with somebody who's on the outside and works at McDonald's and all they do is come home and listen to their favorite rapper, they don't have time to get into the minutia of a career and building a career. So I don't really talk to these people, yo. It's just like being a real estate agent. You don't know, people kill people to get building contracts. I don't know how you got that contract. And that's something else that my mother always said. Stop looking at people and thinking they got it when their cars are leased, their house is big, they 3 mortgage payments behind, and you just see it in front of you, but you don't know the story. And 3 months later, they're asking you, can they sleep on your couch? Mm-hmm. So I got that early. I never looked at somebody else's story and was like, look at your body versus mine. Look at your hair versus mine. Why is your girl like this? Like, I never did none of that. I said, yo, the basketball player is this slim. I got to work on my body. Everything's been motivation to me. I've never had a jealous moment. I've never had a why me God moment. I don't have those moments. Right. I know that I'm supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and my steps are led by God, and whatever I'm going to do to meet God's plan is going to get me where I need to do. I just need to make the right choices. But I never, all that other stuff, man, that's for people who want to be angry and have frown lines. Me, as you see, I'm 50 years old, and at 60, I'm going to look like this or illa. That's what we do.
God bless you, bro. Say that again. You what?
My birthday is, should I be telling y'all scammers? I'm 50.
Yo, when we get off, I'm going to hit your Instagram. Send me $3. Send me $300, and then I'll send you back.
You going to flip it for me? You going to flip it? Or you know the girl that could do it and she got you 10,000 back?
And I do 4X.
Or you can hit me with your 4X hookup because you've been investing lately.
Look, after the first album, I remember hearing Thinkbig.
Oh, my
God. Like, yo, holy shit, Pudgee's about to be out of here.
I keep hearing that everybody said that at that
point. I was like, Pudgee is about to be out of here. Like, yo, this joint is crazy.
The way that beat comes in.
Playing still to this day, you put that record on and be like, God damn, like, yo. But then I'm waiting. I'm like, all right, so when we get in the next album? No next album. I'm like, I haven't heard anything from Pudgee. I was hearing you on the Clue tapes and everything, so I'm waiting. I'm like, I think the other song that I heard too, that I was like, yeah, Pudgee, he really go. I think Hustler's Anthem too, with the Shalimar sample.
Shout out to Terry and Monica. Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, all right, okay, all right.
People don't know Terry. She wrote my Candy Rain for Soul For Real and all that. That's her singing on that joint, and she wrote something else that was Total. Can't you see? So yeah,
crazy. But I'm like, all right. So when we get what happened with the next album, the second album?
So that album. I was signed to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And listen, after coming from Giant, I ain't gonna lie, that was probably the best label experience. They gave me 100% of my publishing. They flew
Back
CC
then,
Peniston.
they gave you
Oh
100%
yeah.
of your phone. Wow.
Remember, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were artists. They came from
Artists,
behind Prince, the rip-off situation. So they was definitely gonna treat artists with respect.
Mm.
They was coming from a different place. So they gave me that. They gave me the bread. I never had a problem with the bread was nice. And bread, it was bread on top of bread. It was a definitely definitely different situation. They flew me, myself, CC Peniston, the Outsiders, Young Z and them, Rufus by everybody out to Minneapolis with them. We rode on water paddle boats, and they did the retreat that would make artists feel like they're part of something.
right.
And after the first single on the regular, shout out to Nick Wiz who produced that. I wanted to leave again. It was like a Warner Brothers all over again. Because remember, Perspective A&M, which was Jimmy and Terry's label, was a R&B based label. They had Mint Condition, who was on tour with us, and Solo, who I was on a remix to Heaven on Earth, that platinum joint. Fire! Shout out to them. And I was looking for a super Def Jam. I never wanted to be on Def Jam, but I wanted to have that strong other MCs alongside of me.
Right.
And
Super friends.
everybody on the label, Arrogant, Young Z, Rufus Black, they were dope, but they weren't like a spitter like me. They were more character rap. You know what I'm saying? They were all fire. You know, I don't want nobody think I'm throwing darts, but I was looking for the aggressive. I needed DMX's on my label. I didn't need Biggie's. I needed Coogee raps. I needed somebody that made me feel like smacking somebody every time I wrote a rhyme. And that wasn't there. So I asked them, they was like, oh, please stay. And then I got frustrated again, you know, and then we talking about presence of mind, right? The Source Awards came up, the one where Suge disrespected Bad Boy and all that. And it was coming up, and I was like, yo, wow, this a label. Why the promotion team ain't tell me I should be there? Why I ain't got tickets? Like, why nobody said this is a placement for the art? So Jimmy and Terry called them up flipping, and I got like 6 tickets. Like, and we went, and I was there for that whole shenanigan. But to me, when you're working with an artist and you're trying to be a proponent in the artist becoming hyper visible to people, placement and timing is everything. And certain elements of hip hop, I believe they should be a part of, which would be Source events. I was in Source magazine all the time. Why wouldn't I be at the, you know?
Right.
So that was just my business mind. So I didn't like it. So they asked me, I asked for a release. They said, they actually said, please stay. We believe in you. We want to do a second single. So then I did Money Don't Make Your World Stop, produced by my bro Fran Lover, and Crystal Johnson was on it, who sang Got Me Waiting, Anticipating for Heavy D. And so that was another Coogee rap moment. Like, you know, hearing her kill it on Have, shout out to Heavy D, man. That was my bro.
Yeah.
Hearing her kill it on Have, it was a dream to have me on that. I was like, I need Crystal Johnson. And right after that, right before that, she had just did Temperatures Rising with Mobb Deep.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I need her on my record. So I got that. So that made me stay. And then I did that, and I did the tour with them, and I did the BET College tour and a lot of the tours that they put us on. I was killing it and shutting Usher down. The chicks was running up, asking me to sign their titties. I was like, but Usher's right there singing nice and slow. You don't want to jack it. They was like, I was like, fire! It's slick. I made it. I'm out. I need nothing else. I won. Right? So it was, listen, I got pictures, and I'll be like, no, he was grinding the stage and dancing all over. And I was like, I am the beginning like Adam and Eve. And they were like, ah! I was like, fire! I love it. I made it. I'm out. Thank y'all. Right? So for me as an artist, that was I didn't need all the other stuff, man. I needed people like yourself to say, Thinkbig, oh my God, Pudgee did it. Like, that's always going to be the thing for me. I got new joints, and the high of it is sending the joints out to people, and they be like, "Oh my God!" Like the endorphins and the dopamine. I don't need to do no drugs. People are my drugs. Like when I get with people and I play them my music, or I do a song for someone, or I help them fix their song, the high that I get from that lasts me like 48 hours, because I poured something into the universe and into someone else, or into someone through my music. I'd be like, damn, God, we pulling all these things out of the air. Where are these sounds and these words and these cadences and rhythms and these tones and frequencies? Where are they coming from? You know what I'm saying? That's a gift. So I'm in my moment. Like I realize that tomorrow may not be here. So right now I'm celebrating the creation. I'm celebrating the creativity. I'm celebrating the actual energy that comes from a thought. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking, I want to create this type of song, and it happens and it manifests.
Yeah.
And you can play it for somebody. And when somebody says to me, yo, I want to work out to this. I won. I'm done. I need no trophies. Tell everybody thank you. As soon as you tell me, yo, Pudge, I want to work out to that song, it's over for me. I'm double platinum. Like, I don't care about nothing else, because everything else, listen, I had a lot of money. It goes away very quickly if you spend like I spend. So for me, the most important thing that's long lasting is the energy that you give someone, that I call it a stain or a time stamp, because they never gonna forget how they felt in that moment, wherever they were.
Mm-hmm.
And music is that thing for me. And so when I do interviews and the interviewers be rhyming to me, or my man, he's in Abu Dhabi. Shout out to Sheem One. He does this dope podcast about, I don't know the name of it, so don't kill me, Sheem, but it's about bettering the black youth and the mind of the young black man. And he's in Abu Dhabi, and he called me from the barbershop last week, and dudes is in there spitting my rhymes and whole verses from mixtapes in Abu Dhabi. And I'm like, what? He like, yo, you lit out here, bro. All the barbers in the barbershop. And I'm hearing all the barbers rhyme my rhymes. And you can't imagine you talking to somebody, and when you see them in 10 years, they say what you said back to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's mind blowing, bro.
Yeah.
You say it's like the Martin Luther King speech. When he gave that speech, imagine how charged he would be to know that everyone else knows I have a dream.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And that came from your mind, bro. That was your thought. And it took on a persona and a life of its own. So that's how I feel about my music. And I got a song, like I said, coming out called Fingers in My Ear. I got a joint called Joosay, Joosay. It's talking about female shapes. And I got pop R&B songs. I got an album coming out called Monsters and Heroes.
Nice.
So Choose Violence is the first single, and it's produced by Nitty, who did Check It Out the Avenue. So I'm, to have a relationship that's 30 years old, and that person did your first single, and they doing a whole new genre with you 30 years later, is a story of people. You know what I mean? Fellowshipping through music and being able to, how many people do their first album together and they never speak to each other again?
Yeah.
30 years later, to be able to work with that person. And I said, well, I want to approach music differently now. And their mind and musicality is meeting me where I'm at. There's something explosive about that for me, man. People are so sometimes,
called good chemistry.
It's called good. It's a blessing, man. I mean, you got to be solid humans to accomplish that feat. You gotta be solid humans. So Choose Violence is a dope R&B joint that I did. It's about a female who beats up her man. Because people don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And then Fingers in My Ear is the rap joint that I'm gonna be pushing, which is disrespectful. I'm like, when you talking, my fingers in my ear, because I don't hear you talking. So
I'm guessing Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, with all their artistry, they just weren't ready probably for hip hop acts. That's what it sounded like. to me. But I wanted to go back to Think Big because what was the studio session like for Think Big? And Minnesota did that beat, right?
That beat.
Shout out to Minnesota. I spoke to them last week too.
Anytime you hear a beat and they come on and you just want to listen to the beat, before, and then the music, then they come on. That's how that beat grabs me because it's like, who the fuck is about to be on it? You hear Big's voice, and then he comes on. I'm like, hold on. Then it's Lordtariq. I was in Bronx heaven. I'm like, yo, Biggie's from the Bronx, man. Fuck that shit, yo. Fuck all. We adopted him.
So Akinyele was in that session. So shout out to Akinyele. We don't talk about that a lot. My brother was there with me, supporting and repping and not having to be on the song. You know, people are like, oh, this is hot. Why ain't I on it? Yeah. We never had none of that. He supported. And that song, you want me to talk about Think Big. There's so many things I could say in hindsight. So I'll talk about the moment first. The moment was organic. Biggie and I did 9 Dog MCs with, that's on YouTube with Grand Poobah, Positive K, Snaggerpuss was on that, and a whole bunch of other people, Red Bandit, Positive K, Grand Poobah, blah, blah. Okay, and Madman Sean, maybe, I think. Anyway, you can look it up. 9 Dog MCs is by Red Bandit. So we were on that, but when we left the studio, we were all like, we liked it, but we didn't think it was going to be a video. And Biggie and I said, when we do our joint, it's just not going to be a song. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a song. Right? So we will be talking on the phone about it. And I knew all the producers. Everybody was submitting stuff. And I never told anybody that we were going to do a song because he wasn't even Biggie at the time. By the time we did that song, it was like Party and Bullshit and Juicy was about to drop. We would be in the tunnel together every week. We'd be talking on the phone, dragging people, talking about how people is twisted or, you know, whatever. Whatever Biggie was making jokes about that week. And we will always say, we're not just doing anything. We always plan to do the joint. And I was like, yo, I liked you on a bunch of niggas with Heavy D and all them. But yeah, our shit, like we spitters, it gotta be. So I'm talking to Minnesota one night, and I'm like, we in the studio, we was recording a bunch of joints. And I was like, yo, I need something for me and Biggie, man. And nobody's playing me anything that I could even remotely say, yo, this might be for me and Biggie. And he was like, well, I got this joint, but Tariq will have to stay on the chorus because I was going to do it for our group.
Money Boss Players, probably.
Absolutely. And I said, all right, let me hear it. And then he put it on, and I was like, no, this beat is not it. This is terrible. Terrible, baby. This beat is terrible. Bro, this beat is terrible. I was like, yo, this sound like pots and pans banging together. I don't like this. This is terrible. I don't like now I probably could rock with, I don't really like industrial sound of music. I want bass lines. I want melodic. I want to hear. Those type of joints don't sound cohesive to me. It sound like you threw everything in it you heard, and it was like, yo, you're my new beat. It's like clack, 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 clack. It didn't do nothing to me. So I was like, word, what else you got? He played me some stuff. I played that probably with 2 other joints with my mans. It's like, yo, he gave me this beat. Listen to this beat, yo. It was a bunch of my guys around, and Thinkbig came on, and they was like running around in circles and, yo, you gotta do this beat. This beat is fire. If you don't do this beat, you won't fucking up. This beat is fire. I was like, this beat is terrible, and I'm gonna do this beat because all y'all saying, but I'm telling you, this beat is terrible. So I played the beat for Biggie.
And he ran around in a circle.
He was like, who did that beat? And I was like, oh, my man Minnesota. And then he was like, yo, that's the one. And I was like, okay. right? I never told him my story about how it was terrible. I just like, okay, Biggie, I think so too. Right? So he came to the studio and he walked in, we was all there, and there was just a session before that I was doing another joint with Missy and Nicole Ray. Missy was writing the chorus for Nicole Ray. And in that same session, she played Stilo by 702 before it came out. She played her demo. So it was a lot of energy. We was in Giant Studios where Latifah does stuff too. Dope studio. A lot of energy going on. You know, so everybody making fireness. And so I think it was just the moment we was on that the energy wouldn't die for me. So we was hyped. So Biggie and C's came through. Akinyele and Minnie is up there by the control board. Biggie goes in the booth, and no one knows what his dad is, but he was saying this whole freestyle rhyme about me that was fire. And I was like, yo, y'all better say that. We gonna use that for something. Of course, I didn't know anything was gonna happen to him because then it was old. But then he starts doing his rhyme, and then he shouts me out. He's like, I see the diary of a sick bastard. I was like, that's me, fire. Right, so,
and that word, that's another word, sick bastard. When we heard Biggie say that, yo, me and my friends, we formed a rap group called the Sick Bastards. Just
that was me. I'm trying to steal my whole fire. It was my way. Biggie said it.
Sick bastards.
So he was like,
use that shit, yo.
Well, shout out to the Sick Bastards, but so he was like, I see the diary of a sick bastard, Junior Mafia Blast. So the whole time, the way the control room is set up is the glass is there and there's a couch right in front. So I'm sitting in front in the couch with a pad writing my rhymes. We had no rhymes. Biggie was freestyling his verse, and I hated the beat so much I couldn't write to it at home. So everything you hear, which is why you hear me screaming on the beat, is because I had to just overthink what I thought about the beat. Like, that's why you hear that aggression on that song. Going back, I probably wouldn't have been as aggressive, but I hated the beat so much. Yeah, I mean,
I perfect for it.
Yeah, it's what God did. And, listen, word up. What's the motherfucking deal, nigga?
Making people forget you like that. Aaron Hall.
Yeah, I'm making people forget you like R. Kelly did to Aaron Hall. Yeah.
R. Kelly wouldn't mind being Aaron Hall.
Bro. So,
yo, hold Pudgee. Let me stop. Let me tell you this real quick. I think when that came out, mixtapes was still on tapes. I don't think they had them on CDs then.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember me and like a couple of my friends we must have listened to that joint back to back. Like, yo, wait a minute, run that back. Like, it was, remember you literally press the rewind button, you get it. Yo, hold on, run that back. Like that, yo, the beat, everything about that song, I was like, yo, Pudgee about to be out of here.
Yeah, I mean, and then remember, Biggie died very shortly after that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Tariq verse fire too, though.
Tariq verse fire too, yeah.
Tariq, I always thought Tariq was fire. I always thought he was fire.
Right there,
he talked that street talk that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
He talked the hustler talk really good. And I that's what I liked about his presence on the record. And I always tell people, when he went to lay his verse, I had a couple of us had a whole laughing moment because Tariq went in there and he lays his background first. So you don't hear that, but Survivor, Lava. I'm like, that's his verse. Yo, this is verse. We was all in the room like, yo, sing, Fred. I'm like, we're gonna end it at 2 verses. Like, that's what we're gonna do. Right?
Like, yo, all right, perfect. Come out.
Then now I waited because I gotta wait until I verify that the moment is the moment. So I was quiet. And then he was like, let me, all right, run it back. And then he laid the verse. So I was like, oh, he's fire. He lays his back up first. He know his rhyme already. That's sick. Like, but up until that point, woo, cutting room.
He had some slick lines on there. Hustling paper's dead, kid. I want Arab and Jew paper.
Yeah, nah. And now I'm the Sheik, the Lordtariq. Nah.
Really
So let the resurrected say,
yo.
Nah, listen. That's why I say he talked that talk. You can't take that talk. You can't just do that.
Yeah.
So he was fire to me. But again, watching the process. And again, that's what we talk about, fellowshipping in the studio, right? Understanding how other people's process is. So I really came to appreciate that. But again, and we was young then, so everything was funny. Everything was funny.
Did you ever press that up? You should have pressed that up immediately and had that in everybody.
I was pressed up. No, it was the label did that immediately. White labels went out. That's how it got so popular. White labels, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they was no dummies. They had enough people around them to say, this is it. And it got pressed up. We did a remix with Sadat, but if you ask me, when Max went to get the person to do the beat was so garbage that it didn't stand to see the light of day, and I had no dime in that dollar. I didn't have the power to say blah, 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 blah. Next thing I knew, they were just like, the remix is out. I'm like, remix?
I never heard that.
And it had Sadat on it, but the beat was garbage. So whoever did that beat, you did a garbage beat. I don't know if I ever got to talk to you.
And what did the label force that on you?
I don't think it was Jimmy and Terry. I think it was Max Goose that he did it with somebody later. But and maybe I know how Max works, so it was probably a producer signed to him. But they did a trash beat. The beat was trash, like it was for a video game and nothing else. Yeah, and listen, it's on my work, so I'm gonna talk about how I talk about it. Whoever that is, maybe you grew up to blow up, but at that time you were garbage and you should have stayed in the crib, only working on video games. But anyway,
yo, I'd have probably been like, yo, hold on, we can't put this out, yo. But Minnesota did a couple of other nice joints. Minnesota, I think he did the original Big Pun, not a player, right? Yeah. Minnesota got some heat.
Now Minnesota, he got some heat right now. He be holding out, boy. He called me like, Pudge, you can get whatever you want. I'm like, bro, just send me something. Listen, I hate people in 2022 that want to link up and play beats. I could be right here in my boxes. You can send me your whole catalog. I will record it myself. No one else records me at this juncture in my life. Not the Rakim thing, nothing. Everything is recorded by me. And I will send you the vocals and we can feng shui the fake video for Instagram and social media by me showing up to the studio in the mix session. But I don't want to create in front of you. I don't want you talking to me about how you think this should be said because I don't care. I'm going to send you something. You can say, I like that one. And I say, amazing. Send the check. And that's just where I'm at. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be your best friend. I don't want to go to the party. I want to do music because I realized before I let other stuff affect how I felt about music. And the key thing right now is to keep music at the forefront for me. I don't care about parties at your house. Like I decline everything. Everybody's asking me to go, yo, I don't care about that. Like I dead ass be telling people, I don't want to sit at the table with you and eat. I'm going to the gym to not eat. So you want to go spend your bread to eat. I have mad frozen stuff here and all kinds of air fryers. And I don't need you. Like, I'm going to send you the song. Let me know when to show up for the video. And there's a theme. And Merry Christmas. Right.
Yeah. Yo, so how'd you find yourself in the ghostwriters lane?
Well, that was the beginning. Like I said, I didn't say that. So I wrote for the Ghetto Girls in the beginning, a group that made a parody of My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me by the Ghetto Boys. They did My Man's Playing Tricks on Me, which somebody else wrote because I don't write parodies. I like to, write my own ingenious work that came from here and not a parody. That's for Weird Al Yankovic. So I wrote joints for them on their album. And I didn't love ghostwriting them because I don't think I was getting the credit I wanted, and I'm an MC. So what I'm doing, right? And so then, like I said earlier, Essence got me signed to Grandmaster Flash. He got me to write on the Roxanne Shantae's album, The Bitch Is Back. I wrote 2 songs, one of which landed on the album called Got to Be Free. And I didn't like, I'm going to keep it filthy, I didn't like how the deal was done. Something felt like I didn't get the money I should have got. Nothing to do with Shantae. It was again, I started loving her at the beginning, so that was another full circle moment. But I felt like the exchange of monies or payment or whatever didn't happen where I was
properly compensated.
So I was like, Grandmaster Flash, I love the Furious 5 and what you've done. Please release me from this contract. And then I went on to find myself doing other things. Much respect to him. He recorded me, great guy. But you do business with who you can do business with and feel comfortable. And I like explanations, even as a kid. I want
know why.
My parents would say, I'm a kid to ask why. You know what I'm saying? Make a left. Why, Dad? Why I gotta make a left? Why can't I go right? It's part of you forming my decision-making process, which is what I realized. Because I'm not going to have you always to tell me how. And this is what I say about other kids. They're not going to have us to guide them everywhere. So let's be a part of forming their judgment system by telling them why we think this is the best way. Unless it's an emergency situation where there's a shooter and we're like, now, then that's something else. But talk to your kids, talk to your friends, tell them why you made this decision, and let's converse and grow each other in that way. But nevertheless, that didn't work out, and I moved on to do my own thing.
Yeah, I love this segment. Why? Tell me why. You're not Googleable. I say, hold on, I have to look that word up. Googleable.
Tell me why is a real thing. I only fell back on tell me why because I'm waiting to make sure that they're ready. Because the tell me whys I think a lot of people ain't ready for real conversation.
That's more of a reason to put it out there.
You know what?
What was up?
You know what? I'm definitely. I don't want to be the person that's known for saying off-color comments, but I have no problem having clear conversation, and I hope people, I can take it as good as I give it. So just make sure when you counter that you're ready for the counter to the counter, because his brain works.
Yeah, you know something? The best thing about that though is like people fear being provocative, but sometimes provocative really brings out like a true, honest, good conversation when people just put it out there.
Sure.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think when we in this type of setting, people grow from it, but a lot of people they didn't have it at home. They don't get it at home. They run from the truth. So I've had a lot of people like, oh, you're talking down to me. I'm like, oh, then that must mean I'm above you. And so talk to me when we are our level, because I don't feel my head like this. But if I'm talking down, then you need to come up here or grow taller, and then I'll talk to you. Until then, we're not talking no more, because I'm gonna say exactly what it is. I've had conversations with people that really made me feel like I was having an interdimensional conversation. Like there's some kind of computer between us that translates sense into bullshit every time we talk. And we should stop talking now, because I tell people I'm a linear thinker, and you took 1 + 1 and made 16. You got the girls who you talking about somebody else being fat. Well, I'm fat, bitch. Is every open space a place for you to insert your voice and your fat body? I'm not talking about your fat body. If you want to talk about your fat body, we talk about her fat body, not yours. So that's the type of talk I be talking, and people don't like that. But it's offensive to me that I can't talk about someone else without you narcissistically inserting you and your moment into a moment for someone else being fat. You fat too. We get it. We see you every day. You fat. We understand, and we let your fat rock. But we talk about them. They probably better look at her face. She got a better chance than you. She could be fat, not, and dumb skinny, and be rocking. Your face twisted, just stay fat. Niggas will love you. You drink out of mayonnaise jars, beat a fat girl that plays spades in the house and cook all day, and they smoke in the crib. You always got weed. Anyone can come to your house and stay there, and that's dope. But we talking about her. She's domed out. If she just lose some weight, She gonna be on the money. We get it. All right, I'm sorry. Just go on.
You know what? I'm from talking to you, and already, doing research and having listened to you. But now talking to you and learning more about you, I wonder, and I don't know if you've ever thought about this, if you were coming out today in this digital era where label is not needed and it was direct to consumer and you had like your peers around to do music and stuff like that, I imagine that maybe that 10 you may not have had that 10-year hiatus, like, because to me it seemed like a lot of the politics and bullshit of the music industry and the trappings of the music industry is what kind of like soured you on to some. And also I hear you like about like the label stuff. I think like almost like the free agent approach and the ability to create how you want to create. I'm listening to you talk about this stuff and I'm like, yo, I can imagine this day and age would have probably been better suited for you.
I keep hearing that, and I always heard I was ahead of my time. I always heard I'm progressive, but you know what I feel like? The Harriet Tubman thing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just be you in the time that you being you because you meet in God's plan. I don't look to. It's funny. I don't know, because you got to put my back against the wall, because I'm not gonna get on a show in the morning and be like, hello, fat bitches and people that talk dumb all fucking day. You need to get educated. I'm not offensive off rip. I need to feel I need to be shitty to you. Like, you need to say something, and then I'm going to springboard off of that, like, pew! But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be the quiet one in the room because I'm thinking all of those things, but my family shaped me to not have to hurt people's feelings. So I think them and I say them to friends. But if you ask me, you're going to be mad.
Right.
And I tell you, listen, you asked me, I didn't act like, how do I look in this? Or you look fat in that, or you look busted, or that dress is cheap. Oh, what, you didn't have to say it like that? I'm like,
you asked.
Like I hate you to have to say it like that. That shit don't even make sense to me. Like that means I said, you busted, corny, weave wearing, track showing bitch that smell like cheap everything, that a smell be permeating through your jeans every time, and I have to spray stuff in the air.
Yeah, man. I'm like listening to you. I'm like, damn, like, removing the labels out of the equation, you having the ability to even like you got your own creative space and everything. And just like the extra shit that come with doing the music, I think sometimes is what get people disenchanted from doing it. Like just having the freedom to create is, to me, is like I see, we talk to a lot of artists, and I always ask them, I'm like, did your experience in the music business turn you off from making music? And people are like, nah, I still love making music, but I know their story and I've witness their journey, and I see how people be like, you know what, they just become so disenchanted. And it's never about the actual music, it's always about the business element that comes with the music that just turns people off. And they just like I've heard many people be like, yo, the recording industry is hell, record labels are the devil. And I don't think that people are saying this for no reason. I think this is just
it's high school,
their experience.
It's high school, bro. It's high school. At some point you got to realize that it's the same people that have no friends in the lunchroom. They became police officers because they were bullied in their hood, and now they're all of a sudden rappers. It's the same thing. It's nothing but high school. It's a bunch of broken people or solid people, good-looking people or busted people, awkward people or great social butterflies, all being forced to work together because they all believe that they have a musical ability, or they want to be a photographer, or they want to be a videographer, or they want to be a designer and a stylist. You know how many people all of a sudden are in this business that I used to see working in the supermarket? I'm like, now you want to do this? Like, I hate those people. I'm like, Your face is from Target, bitch. You are supposed to be a fucking registered 12. You're not supposed to be here fake styling people because you play dress up in your house. Oh, I'm a makeup artist. I'm doing tutorials. I'm like, bitch, your shit look like a fucking cake on your whole shit. You kissed me. I had your face print here for 9 weeks. People thought it was a special shirt. Like, I'm just saying. At some point, you need to realize that there's so much other shit out here besides music, styling, makeup, fashion. Like, listen, we all have to wear clothes. Most women put on makeup. Most dudes put on fly gear, but you don't have to decide you want to dress everybody, make beats for them, interview them, go to the party and throw parties for them. You don't got to do none of that. You could be who we come see when we have a health issue. Oh, you a doctor? Fire! What? You an attorney? Fire! I don't see none of the people. Oh my God, you're a political activist? What the fuck? I don't know none of them. I never knew them. Everybody raps, bro. Everybody has morphed into an artist. People I didn't even know. They didn't even barely listen to music. Now they're like, yeah, you want to hear my first single? I'm like, yo, what? Bro, let me get this coffee with extra caramel and I'm good. So I'm just saying, bro, like this business, it's not that I don't like the business. I hate the novelty of it.
Wow.
I hate the novelty. I hate the now you're important. I hate the now you decide you want to do this. When you have artists who, I hate to say blood, sweat, and tears, but who have dedicated every iota, every fiber of their being, lost relationships, had sleepless nights, given away great opportunities to dedicate themselves to creating something that inside of them is causing them turmoil unless they release it to the world. And that's a real thing. Turmoil and mental health and artistry are best friends. They're a friend group. And I don't think people really understand that. So at some point, yeah, I back up from people that aren't authentic because it's a parody. You know, it's not real. It's like you're not even doing this for this. You know how many people I hear? Oh, well, my cousin works at Def Jam, so he told me if I just write some songs, I could get. I'm sick. It's bro.
Yeah,
I'm mad at everybody. Oh, my baby mother, she got a job at Def Jam now. She got a job at Universal. She told me she knows so and so directly. Just get her my demo. But bro, you never rap right, Pudge. So I was asking you if you could write me 3 songs. Instead of coming to me and saying, Pudge, are you working with any artists that are valid? Do you have any new songs you want to push through? That's it. You can still make your money through this business. You don't have to become the fake face of artistry when you've never been an artist and you about to make da ha da ha da ha ha ha. You about to make that so you can get a check. Like at least they talk about Little Nas X and the novelty of him, but his music is valid. When I listen to him, it's not clown music. I feel like he really writing it. At least there's some artistry along with the novelty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those who like art, they find themselves getting past his novelty and they decide to placate his music or patronize his music in that way. That's dope because you're looking past all of the smoke and mirrors and the illusion of the system and saying he's still a talented brother, and that's the part of him that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at him in a diaper like the baby. I'm looking at the rhymes, right? Because they're doing everything to get our attention, and whether you know it or not, you're part of a manipulated system. You're a mannequin, and someone's turning your head and putting a hat on it when they feel like it, and putting you in a tracksuit when they feel like it, or leaving you there naked. You're a mannequin if you're being manipulated in that. I'm just saying. Okay.
Man, last question for me. What are your thoughts on streaming? How do you feel about streaming?
My first answer should be I love it. Right? If you're asking me about the different facets of streaming, I can answer that in parts. First part being, I'd like that I can get my favorite artist album on Apple Music on my phone in the gym, right? Play it anywhere on demand. I bought the whole album. I sign up. I don't have to go into a physical store and you drop at 12, I'm listening to your album at 12. I'm sated in that way. My appetite is cured because I really wanted to hear your new album, and it's immediate, instant gratification. If we're talking about percentages, artist share wise, and streaming, I did say to you that nothing in this industry is new. So unfair shares of allocated funds and weird levels of payment per the creator versus the people who are the machine, they're crappy. Once again, artists have been duped into thinking that it's a good opportunity for them, and it's not. It's cool, but now you've still got to go back into manipulating. You've got to look for Spotify playlist curators, Spotify promoters. You got to look for people who've got the key. Everything has some type of trick that comes along with it. So I like streaming, again, for the purest form of access, instant gratification. All the other nuances of it, and where a lot of places they don't want to pay us shares, like streaming in Starbucks, streaming in Target, and now we've got to fight for ownership. A lot of it is debilitating. It goes back to where people don't feel like they want to be a part of the system. They want instant gratification. They want to be a grassroots performer, sell merch at their shows, tour in that way. Now, the problem with that for some people is they're not tour artists. They don't want to perform. They're shitty performers. They're antisocial. Their song probably isn't going to, the song may be okay, but when someone sees you performing, they're going to be like, boo. So that's a whole nother faction and area of your career where you need to be strong if you're going to be a touring artist.
Right.
So, streaming may be a cure for somebody who wants to sit in their house and just get noticed and they never want to come outside their house, right? But the inequality in the distribution of funds is always going to be a problem to me.
Yeah. Man, on that note, Pudgee Tha Phat Bastard. Yo, we appreciate you again, man, for agreeing to do this dope interview.
I appreciate you. So I got some things I need to say, and I always mess them up. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say them today, and I'm going to get them right. I am in this new book, Changes, by Sheldon Pierce.
Nice.
Detailing the life of the iconic Tupac Shakur. I am on about 15 pages where I speak candidly about our interactions, our experiences, and what it was like knowing the great and iconic performer, Tupac Shakur. Oh, I murdered that. Mm-hmm. Second, here is the bag. His name is Sheldon Pierce. You may get this. It's available everywhere. I just did a walkthrough where it's in Barnes and Nobles and whatever else. I'm also in another book this year. This has been a great year for me to be in books, right? I Am Relentless. I feel like I'm on a commercial. I Am Relentless by Stax Cordero. She has a play coming out now. Please follow her, Stax Cordero. She's on Instagram. Amazing artist, rapper, playwright, dope chick overall. My new website, www.Pudgee Tha Phat Bastard, is up and running. I'm doing a soft release. We have new Pudgee merch.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm doing this is as you know, this is a change to the old logo. And here's the old logo revisited.
Nice.
Did I do? Yeah. So I have a whole bunch of other stuff up there. And I'm partnering with a line called Rebellious Zombie. And they have light up LED bags, which I don't have on hand because I'm prepared. And yeah, you're gonna have a chance to win one of those Rebellious Zombie bags on my site. Light up LED bag, Rebellious Zombie. Nice. Light up LED bag. This is the sling bag. They have a book bag as well. This, you can display your logo. You can tell your bitch, go fuck yourself. No dick tonight. You can tell your man, here's the bag. No pussy tonight on this bag. All right. So, yeah. What else? I'm working with Pyrex Platt. I already said Sweet Tea. I'm working with a superstar artist by the name of Essence from Queens. Her @ is Essence Official on Instagram. She's a baddie. She sings and raps, and she's fire. And I wouldn't be pushing it if it wasn't something dope to be attached to me. And she's being produced by myself and Nitty from the Trackmasters, who is now in a production team called the Wonder Twins with his brother Louis. So Rambo, whatever people be like, and they hood names pushed. So yeah, I'm doing I'm doing a lot, and again, I'm dropping Choose Violence, and I'm dropping Juicy and Fingers in My Ear. That'll be coming in the next month. So if you go to www.pudgeethafatbastard.com, you will be able to keep in touch with me and receive updates on my career and my musical journey. It's been a wonderful interview here with my brothers. I think we're doing a really, 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 really good job communicating the understanding of the music business and what it feels like to be an artist on a journey in here. And I hope I drop some gems. You may not be able to take them to the pawn shop, but you may be able to get the bag with some of the gems that I drop. I am Pudgee Tha Phat Bastard. I am fire. I'm unfuckwittable. Please believe it. Shout out to everybody we mentioned in this video. And yeah.